Okay.
All right, it is 7:34. Make the motion to come back into session. Do I have a second? All in favor say aye. Aye, it's unanimous, carried and approved. Okay, so in regards to the Peller license application law, we're looking at, we need to make the motion then to approve and have it set for public hearing on, was it March 14th? Is that the day?
Call for a public hearing at the next regular meeting, which would be, yes, the 14th.
Okay. I'll make that motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second it. No, go ahead, Rick. Rick seconded it.
Okay, you made the motion?
I made the motion. Rick seconded it. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. It's unanimous, carried and approved. Next up is the ORC Bond Council Agreement, roads.
Yes. We received a letter that I believe I forwarded to the board, ORC letterhead, and I believe I forwarded it by email. And it's a letter talking about retaining them as bond counsel to the village with respect to rendering their opinion in connection with the financing of the above mentioned project, which is the water system improvements. And I asked Mary if she was waiting on this because I didn't know that this was coming. She said she does need it, but the board needs to accept the contract, and then Dan would sign that it's been accepted by the board, and then we would forward it on to EFC.
Any questions?
Is this the same bond council that did the?
They've worked previously. When was it? We
When
worked
did
with
you say?
them just like last fall. We worked with them on some bond paperwork and they did all of that for us. Maybe it was the refinancing.
We've done business with them in a while.
Yeah, and you use special bond counsel because they know what they're doing and they turn it around very quickly. It's pretty much all they handle, or they have a special unit that does it. And if you look at other municipalities, they use specialized bond counsel too. It's very standard practice.
We use them for all our big sewer and everything.
All right, so then what we need the motion to go ahead and approve the agreement and authorizing myself to go ahead and sign that. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, it's unanimous, carried and approved.
Jason, you did the second?
Yes.
Thank you.
Water terminations, and then we go on to the budget. So we had what? We had a total of 83 outstanding, and we're down to 37. It's been busy, huh? Needless to say.
Last couple days especially.
We do have a couple requests for extensions. First one would be for 149, stating the individual is requesting a short extension on his water bill for 1 week till his paycheck comes in. I don't see a problem with that. Does anybody else? Or Jason?
No.
Okay. Next one is,
Should be in the bottom corner.
thank you. Next one is 407, stating, please consider extending my payment that is ongoing on my water bill. I realize that I defaulted on my previous payment agreement. We had to purchase a new hot water tank and get our hot water boiler repaired to our basement flooding again earlier this month. If our water is shut off, we will be without heat since we have hot water baseboards. My income is fixed because I have been out on work on disability the last 2 years. I am asking that you allow me until March 18th to pay the balance remaining on my account. I understand that a new bill will be issued by then, and I will make every effort to pay that in a more timely manner. I appreciate your consideration in this matter. So there's, the individual stating they'll pay the balance in full that it is today, not including the upcoming water bill. What if we were to authorize that and then help the individual stay on top of the water bill going forward? Put them on a payment agreement for the next, obviously, they're not gonna be able to pay the full amount. And,
We have a shorter term this quarter because of the re-levies due mid-April to the county.
okay, so would that one then be re-levied? How would,
If it's not paid by the due, I mean, they would have till mid-April to make whatever payments they could. Whatever balance is left in mid-April will be re-levied.
okay, so, but she's saying this will be paid by March.
Right, this one.
Yeah, March 18th. Anybody see an issue extending that to the individual? I don't see so, just being on a fixed income with that, and making the effort to take care of it. Next one is 456, stating to whom it may concern, I am making a $100 payment to our account on Monday, February 29th. I will make the final payment to the final 8740 to this account. Anybody see an issue with that? I don't either. And the last one is 476, stating we are asking for an extension on our water bill shut off. We will pay $20 on 3/1 and $30 on 3/16, and on 4/1 we will pay the remaining balance. We have $20 today. Thank you. So you're talking $30, so. Thoughts on that one? It's $50 and then pretty much be 161, right?
I think you have to give them the benefit of the doubt.
I would say so.
Did they say the time frame on the remaining 161?
They said the 161 would be paid on 4/1 is when they will be able to pay the remaining balance. I don't see an issue. I mean, that's before levies are done. Does anybody else? No. Alright, so all of that then amounts to, we don't need to go over all the other ones that are requesting for, those are in regular payment agreements, correct, Rose?
Those are ones that are gonna be paid this week. If you authorize the DPW to terminate, we have to do a 5-day posting starting tomorrow, which will give them until 2/29. So they will all have paid before the termination. So it's kind of a wash. They'll be before the termination, so they won't have a shut off.
Right.
And then the rest of the people, you'd have to authorize the DPW to terminate them.
Okay.
So yeah. Just looking for the authorization from the board to the DPW to terminate.
So we went from 83 down to 37. Do you know where we were at last quarter, by chance?
I don't, I'm sorry.
Do I have a motion to give the DPW the authorization to go ahead and terminate the water on the accounts listed?
I'll second it.
No, I asked if I have a motion.
Oh, I don't have a motion, excuse me.
Rick will make the motion.
Okay.
Jason seconded it. All in favor say aye. Aye, it's unanimous, carried and approved. Water's done. On to the budget, Gene.
Okay. Let's start with sewer. Last meeting, when I left, you guys were talking about the sewer benefit fee.
Okay.
I don't see where anything was decided, so, and maybe it was, I'm not sure, but I thought it said in the minutes that it was not.
It was not, no.
Okay, so can we discuss that so I know what to do on the revenue side? What we say.
So originally what was brought up was, because we're at $60 per user,
Right now, we're at 60. And you've been talking of cutting it.
How many users was it again, 430?
400 and something like that.
423? According
Yeah,
to your,
423.
Or are we talking, reducing that more for ones that don't have sewer than the ones that do, right?
Right. We were talking, what the guy's name was it 2040? Sound right?
I seem to recall it being a reduction over time, something like a 5-year plan to reduce it.
I thought we were gonna do something like that too, so we could bank it.
So we'll,
Build up a bank or something before we just eliminated it all.
Right,
together.
yeah. That we were in agreement to, and also to offer some relief to those that don't use, that don't have sewer, that don't have things. Was it 20, I wanna say it was 2040, or was it 3050? Something like that. Anybody?
I'm looking.
Oh, I usually have good recall.
I recall there was a proposal to reduce it by, if I'm not mistaken, $10 a year, because right now it's at 60, and then doing it 50, 40. I remember somebody mentioning that, but,
We discussed that as well.
yeah.
There are many options, I think, right, so, thoughts, ideas, which way should we go? Anybody?
Slow decrease. I'd say, myself, I'd say keep it the same for a while. Put it in the bank. And then start giving the people that aren't on the sewer a bigger break than the people that are. But I had it,
How many do we have on sewer?
200. 200.
Probably about half of them. So about, 2 to 10 somewhere.
Because right now that's $25,380 that's going into the sewer budget. Is there a line where it shows what it is? That is, Gene?
On the
Sewer.
income side, right now you don't have the income sheets in front of you, but yes, there is a separate line item for the sewer benefit
Okay.
on the income side.
Okay. So do we want to start with, say, 60/40 and then, or 60/50 and then go down to 50/40, like, something like that? What are your thoughts?
If you keep the fee, how much of that are you going to put in the bank for future improvements? Sure. You'll have to let me know that.
I'd say a big chunk of it, I mean,
You know?
especially if you're gonna charge everybody the same thing.
Well, for now. I thought, when I left last regular meeting, I thought you guys were talking so much for people on and so much off.
Right.
Right.
That was my understanding when I left.
Yes, you were right.
Uh,
Fiscally speaking, what do you foresee that would make sense and help with capital improvements down the road?
Oh, well, I mean, if you put a big chunk of that away for the improvement, the sort of benefit. I mean, I don't know how much you're talking. Yeah, and you can go on the revenue side, and then we can decide on the appropriation side.
Right?
Right now.
Today. So, I mean, what are we trying, what do we need for a figure?
That's what I'm trying to.
I mean, some of it is actually being used for maintenance of it, another part of it is used for just a sinking fund, right? So,
Typically, how much is going towards maintenance?
Well, in the past, it was going, you were paying $16,000 a year for principal on the bond,
Yeah.
and then interest of a couple thousand. So approximately $18,000 was going towards bond payment. And then the balance was going towards, then 2,100 and some was going towards, future capital improvements. So you were looking at maybe 5,000 going into operation.
So we are only putting in 2,000 for capital for reserve then?
We were putting $5 per benefit fee, so, yeah, $21.15, I think it was last year.
John, what do we have coming up as far as fixing on the, down in the sewer plant? We just did the UV lights. What about the sand pits? When are those coming up?
Probably have to do one, and I'd say 2 years down the road. And the other one should follow hereafter.
And how much is that roughly estimated?
10, right?
Yeah, right along there, depending on the price of sale at that time.
But you gotta buy special sand.
Yeah. It's not so much the price of sand that comes out of, chafing. So all, it kills you.
Was it the last time we got it, we had to send it all back, or was that 2 times ago?
2 times ago, I sent the wrong stuff.
Is that something we haul or we contract that all done?
Well, we have Granats hauls it.
How often do we replace the sand?
It's been, I think, 5 years since I've done one.
Every 5 years?
About every 5 to 6 years, depending on it's how, I usually watch and see how it works. If it starts slowing up real bad and don't help it, it's time to change it.
I think it's been changed twice, hasn't it?
Woody did the 2 closest to the creek, I did the other 2, and somewhere along in there, the contractor come in one time, did it like the top.
6 inches.
6 inches, it was pretty much a waste of time.
No, for the 10,000 is for just a sand pit, so you gotta take 20,000.
Something like, what is it, 100?
Yeah, so now you're reducing it down to
Or is it 85
$1,000. $116.
A lot of sand.
What's up?
How much do UV, how much does the UV cost, the UV lights and all that, and how long do they last?
Lights themselves last quite a long time, it's the maintenance on them. Bulbs are, I think Mark got them down to $60 a pair. New light, ballast are outrageous. 110 or 115 per ballast. The wiper motors are like 70.
And how often do we replace those?
Usually, you know, when it's like everything else, if everything goes all right, it should just be a matter of maybe 4 sets of bulbs this year, and we should be in good shape.
So we're looking at, in 2 years, we're looking at $20,000 for the sand pits. And then regular maintenance is roughly how much typically a year?
We usually use it like 5,000.
5,000? So that puts us up to 30,000. So in a 5-year term, we're looking at 20,000 for sand, 25,000 for maintenance. Let me just say 30 because the cost of going down.
I think when last meeting I handed out, I put down that we would use approximately 6,300 for operation and maintenance. Yep, that paper is,
62, 65.
yeah, I just rounded off. I like you
So
said,
let's put that at 33,000. For maintenance. And you said the UV light should, would you replace them once every 5 years, John? The UV?
Every year, usually end up
Right.
buying 3 or 4 sets.
No, I meant like what was done this last year as far as the UV, or is that what was done with the UV, was just replacing the bulbs?
Just replace those soon.
Okay. Well, that's part of the regular maintenance then, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So in a 5-year or in a 5-year plan for the sewer, we're looking at $53,000 if we have to have. What did did you have at 2550? How much did that give us a year?
I was doing 25 and 50, if you had 94,500, that's what I figured.
Right, so,
I got doubles at less 53,000.
right, so $50 per user that's on the sewer?
Yeah, $25 for those that are off, based on 210 and 213.
What are you using as far as the 210 on the sewer or off?
Those are the ones that are on the sewer, 210.
Okay, and then 213?
Yeah, so you got 210 times 50.
It's 10.5.
Okay, so you get 10.5 times 5, right? 5 years.
Right. And then you got 25 times 213.
That's 52.50.
That's 5, 325.
That's 13 times 25. How many years are left on that?
Originally, there was about 8 or 9 years left on the bond.
Right, right. Did you get 79,125?
This one. What did you say?
Go. I got 79,125.
Yeah, so that, yes.
Okay.
That 8 or 9 years is, so that would take 20,000%, would it take? Technically, is that what
Right, at 20,000% and then say 33. You're going at 6,500.
To pay it off early. I thought you said he was.
That was extra money we had.
He was doing 6,200, 6,300. I went to 65 just to.
I thought I'd be cooking that, I wouldn't.
65, okay, well,
I mean, heck, even
times
if you did,
5.
I mean, even if you did 7, I mean, that's 35. I mean, you're talking maybe at most 55,000 over those 5 years as far as the maintenance.
About $26,000.
So if we reduced it from, to what it is now, we went $50 per sewer user and $25 per sewer user that's, or per individual that's not on the sewer, that would generate $15,825 over the course of a 5-year plan covering water maintenance and with sand and our standard maintenance. That's 55,000, saying that's highballing it. That would give us a capital of $26,125. I'd say that's being very, that's going over.
Okay, so this particular year, if you make it 50 and 25, so you're coming up with approximately,
$15,825 for the year.
okay, so how much of that are you talking about putting into capital? 10?
Yeah, because we spent 10,000.
I mean, in a 5-year cycle, I mean, you're talking, we're coming up on 2017 and 2018, so we're gonna have to prepare for $10,000 to go towards paying for the sand next year, and another 10,000 for sand for 18. So we have to at least put $10,000 towards that part. Plus, then you're also talking, we might be putting most of it. We're not gonna start seeing the money going in towards capital until the final 3 years, and then we're gonna have 26,000 to start.
Yeah, but we get front of it, so. I wonder if it'd be better to go 60-30 for 2 years and then drop down to 50-25. If you did 60-30, it comes out to about $18,990. First year. You spent 10,000 for sand, right?
That's, I think that's what we John figured.
What if we left it alone for another year? What if we left it alone for another year?
That might be an answer.
24,000, roughly.
For
Yeah,
what?
leave it alone, it's
It's about
25.
25,000 that we built.
Right.
And right now, 2,100 was going into capital. So if you build 25, if you leave it like it is, how much do you want to put into capital? I would think you'd put in at least what the bond debt was.
Right.
Right.
I mean, that's my own opinion, but that's, because you don't have that now.
Right. Well, and that's gonna prepare us for next year for when we do have to do the sand right off the bat.
That would be what, 17,000?
I would say 17,000.
16 for the payment and 1,000 for the interest.
If you gotta leave it the same, yeah.
Right.
I mean, so do we leave it at the full 25,000 as far as income, or even reducing it from 60 to 30 is roughly 19,000?
I think we should keep it for 1 year
Yeah.
at least, and that way we've got a margin of safety there.
True.
It would give us some more time to think of a better plan to try and,
Okay. So then are we all, do we have to make a motion then to continue to implement the $60, right?
no, I don't think so.
I don't
because
see
it's-
why you would have to make a motion.
It's still got 89 years originally left.
Okay.
I don't see why you need to make a motion.
No, ultimately, all that's done. When you produce a tentative budget,
Yeah.
it's all done after.
I mean,
that.
just be ready to explain to people
Right.
why you're still keeping it.
Alright, so then everybody's in agreement then for the $60 for this year then, for sewer bond? Yep.
Okay, so we're looking at $60 to keep. And we're looking at putting in capital 17.
Right.
Well, then hopefully next year you can really reduce the ones that aren't on the sewer.
Okay, while we're on sewer, John gave me some figures to put in for appropriations. So I put that on the new sheet that I handed out this evening. I did email to you, but not until, what, 1, 2 o'clock this afternoon, something like that.
What are you talking about?
Pardon?
Where are you talking,
The
Sewer appropriations.
On the appropriations. Your last page on that packet.
Oh,
that I handed out. I may have extra copies. You guys want any? Oh, I guess we have a bunch of copies today.
I have an extra set here. Mr. Bob first can have mine.
2 copies here, Bob, if you want one, and I don't know if Eric or Tom.
I sent Eric one earlier.
Thanks.
So I guess basically what you need to do is go down the figures that John provided us. Ask John any questions, see if you want to keep it, raise it. For an ending balance of roughly, I believe I came up with about what we had last year. Ending balance. I don't have that, I think I left it on my desk at home. I have that with me. Yeah, I think I was looking at right around 50,000 for an ending balance, where last year I believe we had 35. But I don't know what you want to do as far as any, looking at John's expenses, have John explain to you what he put in. I mean, you're looking at sanitary sewers. John put in $30,500 for personal services. The equipment, John left the same at 20. Contractual, John had in 38.5, which did go up 3,500. He went up 300 in sewage equipment, and the contractual went up to 25,000. On the compensation, being that we came in higher this year than what we had budgeted, I tried to calculate what the percentage was that we went up, and I believe it came out to be, I think it was 5% higher, I believe it was. I don't remember now. Doing it late last night. So I put in for compensation 3,600 from 2,250.
How come such a bigger amount?
Well, we were under budgeted this year.
Okay,
the expense came in higher. So,
Is that typical for something like that?
well, with workers' comp, it depends who gets hurt and who is down through the county. Be better to have extra in there and be safe than.
and on
than my
the,
fly.
when the health insurance went down $13.92,
The health insurance went down because we have 2 people on health insurance this year, where last year we were having 3.
okay,
So health insurance went down on each category, each field. And it's based upon what the estimate was that I received, I assume you guys talked to the county, or to the union first.
alright, so you're saying that we should have an ending balance right around 50,000 for the sewer then?
Yep, that's what I was just estimating quickly. I'm not gonna put that down for sure yet, but. I guess my big thing is, I didn't know what you were doing with sewer benefit, and I did not know if you want to increase or decrease any of John's expenses. Or talk to John, or. I mean, I don't know what John's thinking about equipment, or if you want a list of equipment, so we know roughly what John's thinking.
The, under sanitary sewers, the contractual, it was 35, now it's 38.5. Am I looking at that right?
So 3,500.
$3,500. You got something in mind for that, John, or is that just kinda a safety net, or?
Safety net.
And Gene already explained the employee benefit for accounting for that.
Do you have any changes on what John gave me and that I put in there?
I mean, equipment went up $300. Contractual expense went 636 for
We're talking
treatment.
total like $4,400, something like that, altogether? Going up? 45?
Well, your overall budget went
Went down.
from, on the 137,445 to 152,708.
I've got 135.
I got 135.7 on it. At least that's what your Excel spreadsheet shows.
Okay, maybe my,
You added in the 17, G.
yeah, I put the 17.
Is that the
in there.
capital transfer?
Yeah.
Thank you.
And I mean, that may change a little bit when I come up with the final ending balance, but that's what I'm,
What's this, total debt, the line for total debt, everything's 0.
because we don't owe anything on the bond anymore.
Okay.
But that's okay. Does anybody have anything to ask John in regards to the sewer? I would say probably, if anything, it's just inflating it a little bit, giving comfort room,
Yeah.
just to ensure. I mean, cause my goodness, we're at what, a $50,000 ending balance for this year. I mean, so we should be able to maintain it higher for next year, wouldn't you say? Yeah.
Biggest expense I can foresee coming out of sewer, if I have to buy another big pump for Waverly Street. I got one. If I use that one, I'll buy another one to replace it. Other than that, be pretty good shape, other than pumping tanks. Too big, it's expensive. They usually have house pumps, I think, I was over the other day, I think there's 3 sitting there.
Yeah, pumping a tank is a big expense.
And that price stays the same this year. With a fuel surcharge, but fuel being down, the surcharge should be less. But who's to say what next year's gonna bring?
Okay.
Yeah, I would expect to see a greater imbalance for next year in regards to sewer.
Okay, let's go to water then. Here again, I typed in John gave me some figures. So I used John's figures to stick in there. And on John's figures, he did make some notation. Do you have what you gave me, John, so you can explain?
Oh, for the extras.
Yeah, you had extra stuff.
Yes, our handheld turbidity meter is old. Can't seem to get anybody to calibrate. New one's roughly $1,500. And there was the pressure reducer valve on Jefferson Street. Needs to be replaced. It's $3,500. Plus, no, that was with everything. Cause the reducer was 33 plus parts.
Yes, yeah, 15,000.
I was throwing a rough estimate up, cause I know when we go to start Kelly Summit project, we're gonna have to have some money up front to work with. The way I understand it from talking to Jake, that we have to start, and we can build a funding agency and the money comes back.
Right.
Need some money set aside somewhere along the line, so we got money to start the work, pay the bills, cause I have no idea what return time is on money. If it's 60 days,
Yeah,
30 days, whatever,
that's smart.
but it's, you know, it's gonna be different from our schedule, how it works.
Agreed, yeah. And where are you listing that in?
I just left the figures to Gene, you know,
And how much were you accounting for?
I wanted 15 to start that up there.
In regards to the turbidity meter and the valve that you were speaking of, and other equipment, is that just under 8330.2?
I would think the turbidity meter would come out of 8320, the other one would come out of 8340 because it's distribution.
Okay. Alright, so you bumped that up from $9,000 up to 15.
Which one are you talking, okay?
Alright, so from
8320?
8340 went up from 9 to 15, and then 8320 went up from 7 to 2. Did Gene put in the 15,000 for Cali Summit anywhere, do you know? So we can go down if you were at 246, 753 to lose on journey. Is it our total debt? Oh, that's the total debt.
Dan, 8320.4 shows 9,000 last year, it being increased to 14,000 this year. Should that be 15?
I see 15.
Mine says 15 as well.
8340.2.
8340.2 is 15,000 last year, 15,000 this year.
And what's the other 2,000?
That is expenditures through January.
Oh, mine says 15,000.
I was reading it wrong, I'm looking, the 89 is the actual true expenditures for 15, the budget is 15,000, but the expenditures are at 8,900. And there's still a few months left in the budget.
I'm sorry, I'm not.
Yeah,
No, you're right.
What are you looking at?
The 8340.2,
8340.2,
where the expenditures thus far are at 89.
no, 2,000.
8340.2, you spent 2,000 so far.
The 89 is from 2015.
Or, excuse me, 2015, that's right.
So last year's budget, it was raised from 89.
That was, no, 89 was the actual
Amount.
amount that was spent in 2015.
So we've still got 13,000 left.
Correct.
Okay.
Where did we go down? Was it just because of the total debt?
I'm sorry? Last year, if you're talking debt, last year we had $9,000 in there for a BAN,
Mm-hmm.
and I took that out.
I mean, so for last year, we budgeted 246,715, and we're down to 235,300. Was a lot of it just in regard, that's 59, that's 52.
235, I'm sorry, I don't know where you're getting 235.
You've got one total is saying false on the spreadsheet. Is that not giving us a total into the bottom total? Is that not being counted in?
I'm sorry.
Pulse should be like 24,800, something in that range.
This one says false on my spreadsheet.
And total employee benefits,
Oh, yeah, that didn't. I
So
know
with
that when I
that-
was sitting here.
Would that alter the bottom total?
Yep,
Okay.
okay, so what should total employee benefits be?
25,073.
And that gives us an actual balance of, or a total amount of,
260,373.
That's better.
That makes more sense.
I took out,
boom, that's right.
I took out the category for taxes, so we have not paid taxes, so I took that out, left that at 0.
So, back up here to the 8320 contractual expense. There was 9,000 in there, we've spent 3239.28.
Correct.
So we're bumping that up $5,000.
John, I had 14,000 down for that. That's the electric, to run the pumps and so forth, the wells.
So we figure there's an increase coming.
You'll have to ask. I put in what John put down.
I know we're gonna be working at Kelly Summit.
Is that-
And that'll be off line,
Oh, I see.
good drastic measures, I'm hoping no more than 5 or 6 days, but give or take, you know, weather and unforeseens. So we run that well considerably more.
Right.
Would we be better off to put that 15,000 under 866A.4 for rehabilitation loans and grants?
That's money that you pay municipal and so
Oh,
forth.
okay.
Now, this is just an estimate right now on the expenditure side when we get through the revenue. And that's why we need one more meeting to finalize what the budget's gonna be. So I mean, you can come back to this if you need to and cut. But for now, I guess my question is, are you leaving everything that John put in there, there?
Well, I think adding the 15,000 for Kelly Summit work is smart, that should be accounted for, because that's gonna be done this year. Probably starting in June, wouldn't you say?
August,
August?
wait till it's possible, as dry as possible.
Okay.
So is that reflected in 8340.4?
Yes.
John had it,
Thank you.
yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's where I wasn't following, I'm sorry.
And he increased 8320, point,
0.4 for the electric.
so the pump is the electric, right? How come electric's going up 5?
John's figuring that when the well's off, the string's off, it'll be pumping more. Right, John?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I think everything makes sense in regards to it. Does anybody have anything to add? Rick?
So you got a $13,557 increase from last year's budget to this year's budget, am I correct?
Correct. However, though, you need to take minus that 15 because we will be getting that money back from CDBG.
Okay.
I don't know if we can go after them for some electrical burn up pumping that while we're doing that project or not.
So
And
how
like I
do we
said,
get the money
this
back?
is all temporary until we meet again with the final. And if we find out that you have to decrease something, then we can do it at that time.
Do you know what any balance would be on water?
I was just estimating quickly on this last night and came in at a roughly 45.
1,000?
That's just an estimate. And for last year, I believe we used 35.
Do you know how come we'll have more?
Just because we haven't spent.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
So what happens to this 15 grand when we get it back from the grant? Where does it go then?
To go back in here.
To go back into this fund?
If we get it back and it's supposed to be used for this, yes.
And then we can change it back down to normal next year?
Yep. If that's what you have on.
Because all the work by CDBG has to be done by December.
No, I know that, I'm just saying, it's, you know,
So we should receive all the money that we fork out, or that we have to spend, we should have back for this budget.
Okay, general.
The fund
Okay.
one.
This one I got some questions on.
Quick question for you. What is the amount that we're going based off of that is the max increase of .017? What is that number?
I gave you a paper last time saying what our limit could be. I have not done any calculations because until I know what we're doing, I have not figured any tax rates at all. The last time I gave you what estimate tax cap was that you can't go over it. But first, before we do that, let's go on with a couple questions, because last year, in general, we ended up with a high fund balance. Part of the reason was back in the month of May, we received in 90-some thousand in state and federal aid in May 15th, way at the end of May. So I got some questions as far as for this fiscal year. We've talked about a furnace for the historical building. You guys have talked about it several meetings now. Are you putting it in, and can we take it out of this fiscal year?
I think we should, maybe we should as well. Get it done and over with.
I mean, that was gonna be my suggestion, but I wanna know if this is what you wanna do and how much it's gonna be. I mean, I know John threw out a figure of
3,500.
something.
35, 37, yeah.
So, I need to know if you guys are gonna move forward.
I think we ought to just get it and get it done and over with.
Yeah.
that's fair.
The funds are available, right?
Yeah, Well, see, like I said, we ended up with a high ending fund balance last year.
Because of the fee only?
Well, that and just conservative and so forth, so we got a lot of ending fund balance.
Okay,
So, I'm suggesting that you do the furnace if you're gonna do it.
I think we should. We need a motion, right? To do that?
yeah.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Alright, so all in favor to approve, to authorize John to, purchase a water heater, or hot water tanks, or furnace, excuse me, for the Historical Society? Say aye? Aye. Opposed?
Were you gonna put a not to exceed or anything?
Not to exceed 3,700?
That include labor and everything, John?
That's what the man told me.
Alright, it's unanimous, carried and approved.
And who made the second?
I did.
I'm sorry.
Bert?
Bert, thank you. You're
Okay.
hiding behind John, I can't see you, I'm sorry.
Next question is, under, I know there's been some, Rick sent me an email and stuff about youth and so forth. In the past, each municipality used to get money sent to them. That was up until the year, I looked it up today, now I don't know what I did with it. 2011, 2012. Starting the budget of 2012 and 2013, the money then, instead of going to the municipalities, came to the village youth. That's the money that the youth directors will to submit, so we get money back. Prior to that, East Otto, where are we, used to get a certain dollar amount back, and if there was any discrepancy that the village would not get the total back, it would come out of our pockets, out of the village, because we were the agency processing it. So, I guess my thought, and here again, it's totally up to the board, is there's this issue with the 500. Put it in, transfer it out of the contingent, get the money, and pay the youth. That's my
Going
opinion.
forward, sure.
I mean now,
Now,
Yeah.
to make up for it.
Oh, yeah.
you're talking to 500, take it out of the contingency fund, put it into the youth account, and pay it.
Yeah,
That's my opinion, but that's up to you guys.
yeah. I agree with that.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. It's unanimous, carried and approved.
Now, Ruth, or Rose, will you get a hold of Ruth to let her know that that'll be there so she can come?
Yeah, it'll
and-
be done at the March meeting would be the next.
That way she can come and get kids their money.
Just so you know, it was brought to the Women's Auxiliary as well, the Fireman's Club, possible, charitable donations that they actually look for. And somebody brought up the youth council, if they ever needed it, they're more than willing, all of them. And somebody would have to do this write them a letter.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. So that'd be, right, letting Ruth know. Or
73.
who's the head of that summer soccer program?
Myrna is the one in Little Valley. That's
She-
where our request came
She'd
from.
be the one to get a hold of him then? Oh,
Yeah. Yeah, they're more than happy to do it.
Okay, next thing on my checkoff list is, and I know there's been some emails going back and forth on that, is the wages for the trustees, mayor, etc. I don't know anything about laws, whether or not it's against the law or not, that's up to Jay's division. But for right now, until you see what the final budget is, at least, I would suggest at least you put it back in. Until you see what the final budget is. Then if you wanna make cuts, that's up to you. That's just
Jay, you checked it, to this point, you've checked in on that, haven't you?
I have, and after 2 hours of research this afternoon, I have not discovered case law that specifically prohibits it, though I would be very happy to spend additional time researching that if the board wants. Or I did hear it mentioned from the board that somebody had seen the precedent. I would be happy to research any leads that you have on it. I also reached out to John Mancini at NICOM. I haven't received a response back from him this afternoon, but I anticipate that he's going to see the response and get back to me on that tomorrow. So if I see something that drives the policy of the board, I'm very happy to share that. Though that being said, if you're going to be putting it back in, then you're sort of putting the cart before the horse in terms of asking for additional research. So you'll have to think about that from a policy perspective first. And if you're not going to do it, then it doesn't make sense to research it the other direction. But so far, I have not seen a case that does prohibit it.
I want my personal opinion on it. I know we talked about it. We come to some kind of an agreement on it, but like I said before, we're speaking for people that we got no right to speak for. If not all of us are on board with it, and if even one of us is not for it, then we shouldn't do it. And
I would rather
nothing.
make a donation on my.
Well, that's what I was gonna say, we can donate. And
Well, in
we're not
regards to
fixing the problem,
donation,
we're
in
not
regards to-
fixing the problem anyway, because we take our pay away this year, the cost of these people go up, these entities go up next year. We don't have nothing to play with.
Well, I understand that,
So,
but every little bit helps. I mean, but in regards to being able to donate, I mean, you're still being taxed for that money that you're
Right,
not getting really. I mean, so you can't, it doesn't help as far as like a tax write-off unless you do individual and if you make enough to do such. I would,
right, but for me, it's not about writing it off, it's the fact that, I mean, if I wanna donate, I'll donate on my own. And like I said, realistically,
I would say then,
the rest of the boards, half the board's not gonna be here in a month, and it's not right for us to speak of the people that are coming. If they wanna donate, they can donate on their time. Of their own free will, we shouldn't be making that decision for them. And I agree 100% with Gene, I mean, there is little incentive to get people to come into this now and donate their time. And, some people are gonna look
I
at it.
mean,
and
there's
say,
other municipalities that the trustees and board members make a lot more money than what we do. And it ain't about the money, but I just assume leave it alone and I'll make a donation myself to the library or the.
Well, no, I'm not saying cut back on the library and stuff. Let
No,
first,
no,
Right.
first just
No, he's
put
saying
it in.
addition, that's all he's saying.
Put it in, and then when you get your final figures, make a decision then.
right.
I mean, what is up to you guys?
well, then what about, if anything, reducing? I mean, the mayor's can, my pay can go down. My pay can go down at least 2,000. And that's cutting it right in half at least,
Why now?
you know?
I mean, what I wanna say, we'll start a fight, so I won't go there, I guess, right now, but I just don't think we should touch it at all.
Well, I can touch my pay. I mean,
You can, but then the board's going to probably shoot it down in a month or 2 months, so,
then,
I mean, why waste the time and effort?
I'm cutting my pay down to 2. If you guys wanna leave yours at 1,500.
It still puts $11,000. If you didn't change the pay, the way we figured it the other day, it was $11,000 that could be put back into the different, civil activities in the
My-
organization. If you don't,
Well, maybe we
if you
shouldn't.
don't take it out, then, if you leave it in there, we're looking at $11,000 that is somewhere you can come up with.
We,
Maybe we
up
shouldn't
till
have spent-
several years ago, in our contingent fund had 10,000. The past couple of years, we've been putting 40,000. If we need to, here again, wait till you see what the tax rate is, if anything, drop the contingent to
Right.
30. I mean, you can talk, this is just something I
Right.
need to fill in, and then you guys can discuss it, whatever.
say leave it alone for now.
How long ago did you have it at 10, then you jumped to 40?
We've been 40, we had 10,000 in the budget year 13, 14. And then in 14, 15, it went up to 40, and this year it's 40.
Why did you jump to 30? That's substantial, it's triple, or quadruple of what it was.
We did it just to, we were thinking about the 2% cap in the future. And